Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Let's just do a 90s like soft glam look. Why not? I feel like these colors are perfect for fall as well if you're still trying to do more of like a soft glam type of vibe. So yeah, we're gonna be getting into this look. If you want to see how I got it, then just make sure to stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that little notification bell. That way you get notified anytime that I make a new upload. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I am gonna be starting off with skin today. So I'm gonna go in with some moisturizer first. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. Love this stuff. So we're going to work that into the skin and then I'll move into primer. I'm using Giorgio Armani's Luminous Silk Hydrating Primer. I got a PR package from them a couple of weeks ago and I've been loving all of the products that they sent over, this one included. I've been really enjoying hydrating primers these days because you guys already know I love to powder. Like powder is my best friend. So having a hydrating primer underneath all of like my foundation and powders, it just makes sure that I don't look like a raisin by the time I'm done with my makeup. So definitely encourage hydrating primers, especially if you're into a more soft matte look for the skin. Then we're gonna go into foundation. I've been loving the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation. I'm using shade 11 Neutral. I'm gonna apply that onto the skin using a brush and then I'll switch over to a sponge just to really work it in. Make sure we get that nice, smooth, flawless finish. And now that our foundation is on, I'm gonna go ahead and start applying some concealer. I'm using Makeup Forever's Matte Velvet Skin Concealer in shade 4.3. This has been like one of my favorite concealers these days. I love the finish of this concealer. The coverage is amazing. It's awesome. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend. It's a really beautiful concealer and the shade range is on point. So I'm gonna apply this using a fluffier brush. It's still kind of like a concealer type of brush because it has like a flat type of shape to it, but it's a little on the fluffier side. So I've been using these types of brushes to apply my concealer because it just kind of makes everything, as far as like blending is concerned, go faster. Like the brush is kind of like blending out the concealer for me as I'm applying it. So I'm gonna apply using that and then I'll switch over to a slightly fluffier brush just to really make sure that the concealer is blended well into the foundation. I noticed that with 90s makeup, like the skin is super flawless. Angela Bassett in Waiting to Exhale, like her skin is just, it's bananas how freaking flawless her skin is. So I'm really gonna take my time blending out everything like skin product wise to make sure everything has that really seamless blend. We are absolutely going to set everything with powder. That's one of my favorite parts about like 90s skin as well. It seems like, you know, a soft matte skin is kind of like the vibe back then. So I definitely want to make sure to set everything with powder. I'm using the One Size Beauty Ultimate Setting Powder and this one is in the translucent shade. This powder is amazing, guys. It's so awesome. So I'm gonna use a slightly smaller brush to set the under eyes and then I'll switch over to a much fluffier brush to set the rest of the face. If you are curious, the brushes that I'm using are from Sigma. The smaller one that I use to set the under eyes is the F67 Skin Perfector brush. And then the larger, fluffier brush is their F29 HD Bronze brush. And now we're gonna go ahead and bake. I am switching over to the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder. This one is in Translucent Honey. So this is one of their newer shades. It has more of like a yellowy type of tint to it. This translucent powder is amazing. If you like Laura Mercier's powders, but you have always wanted like something more on the yellowy side, I definitely recommend that you give this one a try. I'm using my little triangular powder puff that we got from the Amazon, and I'm going to use that to apply this powder. I do have a link to these powder puffs down below in the description box, so if you're interested, then just make sure to check there. I'm using the Tanned in Tulum Paradise Wait. No, that's not what it's called. It is the Tanned in Tulum 6 color bronzer and highlighter palette from Beaaute Cosmetics, and I'm going in with the shade Paradise, and we're gonna use this to bronze. To apply this is the Sigma F36 tapered cheek brush. I feel like contour was definitely like a thing in the 90s, but I just prefer to use like bronzer. I rarely go in with like a contouring shade. I feel like for my face shape, it's just more flattering to go in with something a little bit softer when it comes to like contouring and stuff. So I usually just stick to bronzer and just kind of make sure that the skin is nice and warm. And that's usually enough to give me the definition that I'm looking for. I truly hope that this blush is still like being sold. It's been a while since I've had this blush, so I'm like not even sure if it's being sold still, but I'll definitely make sure to leave a link to this blush in the description box because the color is amazing. This is Milani's Baked Powder Blush in Coco Felicita. I love this blush. I'm not like really into pink when it comes to blush, but I love this one because it has this element of like brown to it, and it looks so much more, I think, flattering than just like straight out pink, if that makes sense. So I am obsessed with this blush. I think the shade is so pretty. I'm really praying that they still have this blush like in stock or they still sell this one, but I'll definitely make sure to leave a link in the description box if I find it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause with the skin for a second and move into the eyes. I did dust off the under eye bake and did my brows off camera. So I'm just gonna jump right into prepping the eyes for shadow. I'm using the Makeup Forever concealer again. I mean, this is the same shade that I used to highlight the under eyes, so 4.3, and I'm gonna apply that onto the lid and blend it into the brow bone. So once the lid space is prepped with concealer, I'm gonna set that area with some powder. I'm using Charlotte Tilbury's translucent powder in shade number 2. This is like the compact one, and I'm gonna apply that all over the lid space. Usually I don't set the lid space with powder, but this time I knew that I definitely wanted to because I really want this look to be super soft and very well blended. I'm not going for like a ton of pigment, so having that area set beforehand is just gonna make sure that the shadows apply on like that much more like smoothly and like softer, if that makes sense. And now we move into shadows. So a majority of the colors that I'm going to be using for this look are from the Artist Couture Supreme Bronze palette. I'm first going to be going in with this shade here called Toasty. This is kind of like a neutral toned brown, like it's not too warm, it's not too cool tone, it's kind of like in the middle. And we're going to use that as our first transition color. I'm going in with a really fluffy brush and placing this into the outer corner and kind of dragging it into the crease. Then I'm going to move into my second transition color. I'm using Taupeless from the same palette. This is definitely a cool toned brown, like no doubt about it. It's definitely more on the cool side, which is perfect for this look. Cool toned browns, I noticed, were kind of like more of like the vibe back then, and which is kind of interesting because I usually don't use cool toned browns when I'm doing like soft glam looks. I definitely prefer warm tones, but when I was done with this look, I was like, wow. Cool toned browns might have to be like the move from here on out because this look, like the colors just blended together so well. So yeah, we're gonna use that as our second transition color, and kind of same with like the first color. I'm gonna apply this onto the outer corner, drag it into the crease, but I am using a slightly smaller fluffy brush this time. The brush that I'm using is actually discontinued, but honestly any fluffy brush will do just fine. And for our last transition shade, I'm going in with the color Baked from the same palette and applying that using a Morphe M506 onto the outer corner. I'm not gonna apply this too far into the crease. I'm mostly just gonna focus this in the outer corner. Then next, I'm gonna go into the One Size Beauty Visionary eyeshadow palette, and taking shade Mango, I'm gonna apply that onto the lid. And of course, we definitely have to do a matte inner corner for this look. So I'm using the shade Manila Sands from the same Visionary palette from One Size Beauty. So a smoky lash line was definitely like something that I noticed was like a huge thing in the 90s. So I definitely wanted to make sure to include that in this look. So I'm gonna start off with a pencil liner, and then I'll use shadows to kind of blend it out and create that smoky effect. But the liner that I'm using is from BH Cosmetics. This is their Power Pencil in shade Black. I'm gonna apply that onto the lash line, and I'm kind of gonna not wing it out, but make the liner thicker towards the outer corner. So you're gonna see it starts really thin in the inner corner, and then it'll just kind of like thicken out a little bit towards the outer corner. So we've got our liner down. I'm gonna go ahead and start smoking this out with those shadows. I'm using shades Shady and Baked from the Supreme Bronze palette. I'm gonna start off with that black eyeshadow first, go over the liner just a little bit with a smudge brush, and then I'll use Baked on the very edge of the liner to soften that black. So the colors that I used to smoke out the lash line, I'm also going to use on the lower lash line, but I'm going to include Taupeless, which is that cool toned brown that we applied on the outer corner. I am going to be going from lightest to darkest, so I'll go in with Taupeless first, then Baked, and then I'll use just a tiny bit of Shady, which is that black eyeshadow, super close to the lashes. And then for the waterline, I'm using the Beaaute Cosmetics Power Pencil in shade Beige. From there, I'm just gonna go in with mascara and lashes. The mascara that I'm using today is from Maybelline. This is their Lash Sensational Sky High Mascara. Maybelline always gets it when it comes to mascara. Like, they hardly ever miss. So if you're looking for a good drugstore mascara, definitely check out Maybelline. And then the lashes that I'm using are from Six Beauty. This is a new small Black-owned brand that recently reached out to me. I've been loving this little lash kit that they sent over. I'm using the style Brooklyn. I feel like back in the 90s, people understood my obsession with like nude lips. It seems like everybody was just kind of like in this nude lip craze, and I'm here for it. Like, I love a nude lip. Those darker browns, like those type of shades were definitely in during the 90s. So I'm gonna be kind of doing like my take on that type of lip. I'm gonna start off with the Melt Cosmetics All Day Everyday lip liner in shade Edible. This is like a really dark brown. I thought this would be perfect for this lip combo that we're about to do. I am going to be skipping lipstick today, just going straight in with gloss. I'm going to use a combo of 2 different glosses from NYX. These are their butter glosses, and they're in shades Praline and Madeleine. So Praline is the darker of the two, so I'm going to go in with that one first, and then I'll switch over to Madeleine and apply that in the center. And then last but not least, I'm gonna finish up this look using some setting spray. I'm using Benefit's Professional Super Setter Long Lasting Setting Spray. Love this stuff. It's definitely like the perfect finishing touch to like soft matte skin. I totally forgot that I decided to like go back and emphasize my little beauty marks. So I'm going in with Freck Beauty's Freckle Makeup. This one is in shade Noir, and I'm gonna apply that onto all the spots that I have like beauty marks. Like, these are actually beauty marks that I naturally have. They're just, you know, hidden underneath the foundation and everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and retouch those. I don't know, I feel like I've just been getting new beauty marks in random places too, like perhaps it's with age, but like there's like new beauty marks just kind of showing up out of nowhere. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this look, guys. I really hope you enjoyed today's makeup tutorial. If you did, don't forget to let me know in the comments, give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I love the way this look came out. It's definitely like, I'm not like a cool toned, you know, eyeshadow person. Like, I definitely prefer warm toned eyeshadows, but I think this look came together so well. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I love you, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.